There's a strange irony in the human pursuit of abundance. The more fiercely one chases it, the further it seems to flee. Like trying to grasp water with a clenched fist, the tighter the grip, the more elusive the goal becomes. We speak of the law of attraction as if it were a tool, something to use, something to master. But what if the law doesn't respond to control? Instead, it is a mirror of consciousness. And there lies the tragedy. Most people unknowingly use this mirror incorrectly, not through failure to act, but through patterns of thought and behavior so subtle, they pass as normal. Habits are so familiar, they go unquestioned, and yet they quietly dismantle the very energy needed for manifestation. Let me examine these habits not as sins or errors, but as philosophical blind spots, misunderstandings about yourself, your reality, and the nature of becoming. And we begin with perhaps the most common of all, the obsession with outcome. To desire is human, but to tether your state of being to the outcome of that desire is to chain yourself to illusion. When you constantly check whether your manifestation has arrived, you reduce the universe to a vending machine. You become the anxious consumer, asking, waiting, doubting. But the law of attraction is not mechanical. It is metaphysical. It is not triggered by repetition, but by resonance. This obsession with results reveals a deeper misunderstanding, that the future is more real than the present, that joy exists only when the goal is fulfilled. And so you wait, you question, you vibrate lack, you forget. The future is but a shadow of your present state. To let go of needing the result is not passivity. It is the highest form of faith. And we know what drives this compulsive checking. Often it's a belief in perfection. And that takes us to the next habit, the tyranny of forced positivity. We have been told that to manifest, we must always stay positive. And so we wear smiles like armor. We deny our grief. We disguise our fear. We turn discomfort into taboo. But repression is not alignment. There is a difference between high vibration and high performance. One flows from truth. The other hides from it. Philosophers have long known emotion must be observed, not avoided. To feel is not a weakness. It is a doorway. Pain is not an enemy of attraction. It is a compass toward healing. True positivity is not a refusal to acknowledge pain, but the courage to hold it and still choose expansion. This, however, demands inner stillness. And stillness is impossible when we live in the next habit. The compulsion to control. Control is the great illusion of the modern world. We schedule, calculate, strategize, believing we can predict the mystery of life. But control is born from fear, and fear is incompatible with surrender. When you attempt to orchestrate every detail of your manifestation, you deny the intelligence of the universe. You say, I trust, but only if it unfolds on my terms. Such a posture cannot attract, only resist. The law of attraction responds not to micromanagement, but to coherence between thought, feeling, and being. Let go of needing to know how. Because in trying to dominate the path, you become blind to all the unexpected roads. And often this control isn't even for you. It's for the approval of others. Which brings us to the next quiet destroyer of attraction. Living through the eyes of others. Socrates once said, to find yourself, think for yourself. But how many desires are truly ours? How often do we dream only dreams that are safe to speak aloud? How often do we silence our vision because it might offend the ordinary? This is the tragedy of living for applause. We become echoes of expectation. The law of attraction cannot respond to a mask. It responds only to the authentic self. When you calibrate your life to external validation, you align not with your soul, but with survival. You become magnetic, not when you are understood, but when you are unapologetically aligned. But even when we try to live authentically, another force lingers, one that disguises itself in everyday language. The habit of casual negativity speech is not mere sound, it is declaration, vibration, command, and yet, we utter phrases as if words had no weight. But every sentence you speak is a vote for the reality you occupy. We do not manifest what we want, we manifest what we chronically affirm. Even sarcasm carries a frequency. Even self-deprecating jokes whisper to the universe. To complain, even lightly, is to argue for your limitations. And while some argue this is just realism, the deeper truth is this: reality is sculpted by belief, not by resignation. And perhaps the most deceptive belief of all is the one that says you must earn your blessings. The myth of worthiness. This final habit is perhaps the most philosophical of them all, because it deals with identity. The belief that you must first fix yourself to deserve good things is built on the assumption that you are broken to begin with. But who told you that worthiness must be proven? That healing must be complete before you can receive? That only the perfect attract abundance? The universe doesn't speak in merit, it speaks in vibration. You are not here to earn, you are here to remember. Remember that desire itself is evidence of potential, that your longing is not random, it's sacred. The law of attraction is not the reward for self-perfection, it is the echo of self-recognition. And once you see that, you are ready to attract. This law does not respond to who you pretend to be, but to the energy you consistently return to. And so the work is simple, but not easy. It is the work of awareness. These are not just bad habits. They are metaphysical errors, disconnections from self and source. To drop them is not to lose something, but to remember who you were before the noise. And in that remembrance, the universe responds, not as a stranger, but as a mirror.